Okay, so I'm weird. I'm a lender by nature, right? That's what I do for a living. And I've had Go High Level for 5 years, and I love it. And we have an affiliate program, blah blah blah. Anyway, I had actually paid for somebody else. I think was from this kind of data stuff, where they could like pull all the hospitals and schools. And I'm like, how do they do that? And then I think I found your stuff like a year ago. Now I'm getting ready to launch it. It has cost so much more money. It's Christmas. I'm in the mortgage business. Rates suck. So wishful thinking. But so what can I do? Because we're doing the AI calling. So all those
Mm.
things up is start without even having our first sale is starting to get scary, you know?
Simply put, she doesn't need different databases. I mean, they have a very focused scope of what they're looking for. So we just need to figure out a package that gets her the one database to get them started, and then they can broaden it out from there.
Our clients, so my Go High Level is called myself as a lender, my realtor partners are going after homeowners and in certain areas. So that's one thing, right? Now, do I need to do a retargeted ad for realtors? When I saw that, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome. Because then I can start running retargeting ads, emails about the product, right, to realtors. So that's cool. I bought into another company who was probably buying your leads. They were doing those targeted ads. I would be happy if I could just sell this SaaS thing and start at least.
Yeah,
That's
no,
exactly it.
definitely. So you said a few things that is making me very excited. So one thing that we just got released is third parties can upload their databases. It's complicated, won't go into how you do it, but one big thing is this intent data, where I would not say it is a person who's a motor vehicle accident lead, but they did in fact Google motor vehicle accident attorney in the last 5 days, right? So you're talking about targeted ads. This works wonderful for targeted ads. So your users can save a list, filter it how they want. Do they want children? We'll say yes. Do you want to be a homeowner? We'll say yes. Married? We'll say yes. And we can go off and search that. And then we get the specific list of 13,000. So this was 13,000 people in the last 5 days that Googled this. And you can save the list how you want. Just buy, save list. You can select an email you want it to be assigned to. So there's two basic levels where your users can log in and do this themselves, and then you can have as many users as you want who can do this themselves. You can go off and save the list. Like, you already know how to do all this, but the new thing that we added is within the purchase list now, you can control what you export. So if your users don't want all that crazy nonsense and they just want, first name, last name, gender, he'll go off and just send those few categories. So then when you get the spreadsheet, now your users don't have to have this whole abundance of, you've seen it before. And that's basically the biggest flaw in our entire business, or has been for 3 years. And we just finally developed this to solve for that. So then if I go over to the file we just downloaded, we were now just able to export it just with these few fields. And this all ties into the whole Facebook that is coming. Right now, what you're able to do is you're able to download the data, obviously. And with those few, it's right here, it's called Shade 256. Do you know what that is?
Not at all.
Okay. So just like you're a number, right? You're a number that is 256 characters. This number basically identifies you across all your devices, across everything. It's one unique number that tries to identify and connect you on any device that you have. Facebook invented it. So when you plug this number in, for instance, I use it personally. I use it both on Google and Facebook. I personally just like Google a little bit more because I find it cheaper. But you can upload that number directly to a custom audience. And from that custom audience, you can show ads to it, or you can make lookalike audiences. So what I personally found, that was right here, I uploaded 10,000 people in America that Googled data as a service, wanting to purchase data, buy data, sell data. So I uploaded it just about a month ago. And the way I market to it, and this is just a trick I learned, and probably everyone's going to exploit now, but I took the audience and I trained it in another country. And what do I mean by that? You can do a lookalike. I did a lookalike of this very expensive audience because it was very, very expensive to market to them. I mean, it still is. But this is India. And I trained the whole ad to do a really low cost to find what people in India would watch. So I got 100,000 users for $30. And basically what it did, it trained this ad. And there's one other ad I wanted to point out that it trained. It trained this. This is the ad. So I trained it on India and then did a new ad just targeting America. And as a result, now I'm getting people to put their credit card in, 26 people, 15 days. And oops, what did I pay? Wrong one. I paid $200, sorry. And as a result, I got 102 people to put a credit card in because I trained it on India at a fraction of the cost. And my cost per credit card entered in America because of training it in India was $2. And I can show you all this right here, that this is the back end. But if we were going to go off to all the accounts that got made, literally they all put credit cards on. They did the zero plan like you did, but still.
So just zooming back out real quick. So the intent data is the key to all of this, right? Because you're no longer targeting a huge swath of people who maybe have expressed an interest in your service in the last 10 years. Now you're targeting people who have searched for it in the last 7 days. And being able to just target and retarget those audiences is the game changer in the whole thing. You're getting people while they're in discovery mode. They're actively looking and they're ready to make decisions. It's,
this isn't
it's
give me all the homeowners that live in the zip code. This is like, give me all the people looking to buy a house.
exactly. Yeah. Or whatever service you have, right? Like if you've got somebody in your network who does, custom front doors, you can literally capture everybody in the state who searched for custom front doors in the last 7 days and target them and sell them your service. And it's incredible, just incredibly powerful once you get a hang of it. And the thing that I tell people is that the hardest part about it is making the switch from the broad persuasive approach to speaking directly to somebody who's looking for you. And it becomes a little bit of a dynamic shift. One of the things Brian showed you is we kind of had to reframe our advertising and promotion because we're no longer talking to people who may be interested and I have to persuade. We're targeting people who are actively looking for a solution in our space. And you can see the results are all of a sudden the people that we have coming into the ecosystem are no longer, hey, let's poke around and set up a free thing. It's let's set up our white label. Let's enter our credit card. Let's figure out how we buy products. Let's set up our store. And it's a completely different dynamic. And it's been like that for every client who's onboarded with intent data.
But this is the end result of what we were trying to do.
I want to specify, you still get access to all the things here. There's nothing here changes. You just added this as the main core. Hey, this is what people are paying us for. Because this is where the market seems to, the demand seems to be.
I found you guys because another company that I was going to shift everything off of and pay into that, I realized they were using Go High Level, the same system I've had 5 years, that I spent all this time and it was painful to leave. All I needed was this service and like 3 others that they had. So and I'm like, wait a minute, I've been talking to this guy forever, right? I mean, you and I talked 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I got one time where I got 2,500 leads. So I can do both is what you're saying. If I have clients that want to farm an area, they can look in the zip code. But more than that, I guess I'm going to need to learn on how to do this other thing that you're talking about. And that is people that are actually looking for the service that we're selling.
Like I said, I'm very technical. So it isn't necessarily people looking for that service. They Googled it. Were they a marketing agency? Maybe. Were they injured? Maybe. But that's where the whole marketing, let me get my head wrapped around all these data points as the marketing agency and the user of the data to maximize it.
When I talk about it changing the dynamics, one of the guys I worked with does reverse mortgages in New York. And they used to pay a lot of money for a lead list, and their metrics were excluding anyone under 62. And what we found was there are a lot of 50 somethings who are doing the research on behalf of elderly parents on reverse mortgages. And so to exclude those people under 62 turns out for, the last decade, they've been leaving out a huge part of potential leads. And incorporating intent data is the game changer there, where now you, literally with our system, they could practically skip trace them back to the elderly parent and the address because you could see the history of the phone numbers.
There's actually one other cool thing I found out, Hakeem, when I was playing around with it. We have company description. So literally I can type in what's random. It's like cannabis. So random. All right. And it's actually going to pull up these are all people who looked for, medical potentially with a motor vehicle accident. 19 people work for cannabis businesses. The whole point of Advocate Data is that you can take a database of 1 billion records.
So take a step back. So as you can see, and as you probably know, it's super powerful and it's a pretty complex tool. Once you get into it, there's a lot you can do with it to monetize it. I have zero doubt that once we get you started, you're going to go out and sell the hell out of it because you get it. It took this one call for you to for him to walk you through all of this and show you and us talk to you a little bit about intent data and some of the other stuff. And you really started to be able to get it quickly, which is great because, you're going to finish your drive and you're going to think about 10 more ways that you can package this up and sell it.
The mindset, and you came in with the right thing, is I want to do this one industry. So, and the whole idea from the get-go 4 years ago, when we first conceptualized this, Apollo, Constant Contact, they have an interesting platform and model, but they don't specialize in anything. So if we let someone who specializes in a specific industry with the same product, it might be more productive for the user.
So how, when you say like 5 products, 4 products, 3 products, how does, because the Black Friday thing, I saw something about the realtor list.
Who's your customer for your SaaS product? That's the first audience we want to upload for you. We want to get you figure out how to get you access to, right?
Oh, they're realtors and lenders. That's easy.
Okay. Yeah. So then
realtors, because lenders are my competition, but
right. So realtors, and then within realtors, we can also with intent data, pull realtors looking for lending solutions.
We're selling the Go High Level. We're selling AI calling, Facebook ads. What I would love to see, I think first is I would love to sell for my realtors, like get leads for people that want to buy in certain areas. Is that possible?
Yes.
Facebook ads,
yes. There are people that are looking to buy a home, sell a home, finance a home, mortgage a home. All of those are available. That's separate search keywords that we can upload.
But they're not even, we don't even know if they're interested in buying. So if you have more intentional, that would be even way better.
Exactly. That's why we added it right here. Like that. These are the same databases. They're all cold, but exactly. Now you have access to anything. Like I have motor vehicle accident, life insurance, final expense, home improvement, just connected in mine. So you would be able to make 5 of these for that 1,200, or we can make a smaller price, like Akeem was saying, that fits exactly what you need.
So then let's talk about like the different package, like what would be a good startup person for someone who just spent too much money on setting their SaaS up?
Like what can you deliver that requires low effort that you, if you were to say $500 and I gave it to you right now, what could you give me?
I think if she had people who are looking to buy a home, daily active intent leads that she could turn around and sell packages to realtors for, $300, $400 a month, like you said, and deliver them zip code specific or whatever area specific package of people who are looking for homeowners. I think that would sell itself if she just put it out there for them.
I've got 12 realtors on it with our first free, but all they got was Go High Level. But if I could get one that we could go here, you know what, we just uploaded their list and now they're taking so many people out shopping, they would all start signing up, and then that'd be a game changer. Does that make sense? Right.
You get one guy to get one active lead or close one deal on it, and it sells itself.
Exactly. So, yep.
I think that's it, Brian. I think it's home buying intent data for her area or region or state or whatever we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sell my home, buy my home. Those two specifically would work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we get the two different, the buy my home or buy a home and then sell my home. 2 different active intent audiences pulling. that gives her two ways to sell, right? To find people who are ready to sell their home. We've got active intent on that. And if you're looking for people who are ready to buy a home, we've got active intent on that. And that's two different packages. Literally, if you price those, like you said, $299, $399, $499, whatever, and you could probably, for a lot of your agencies, they would probably buy both. That's the fastest way probably for her to scale revenue, and then we can bring other databases online for her as needed.
What Hakeem just said, you can customize the packages. So you can make the package how you want and select the databases you want them to have based on what you charge them.
Okay.
So all of this right here, we're figuring out the best model. The data updates every day, not by us. Like basically you have to hit a refresh button and we can refresh it.
Probably weekly until she gets a few paying people. And then we probably just want to figure out a process for daily. And keep in mind, like Brian's genius that came up with all of the solution for all of this stuff to make this all work. We've just brought all of the functionality online, and it is, even for us, overwhelming. So we're finishing automation and we're smoothing some things out. But yes, in the beginning, a lot of this will just be us working hand in hand to make sure that we're refreshing on a schedule that's agreed upon, and doing stuff like that.
How many of those do you think we would get, and what would the cost be monthly for? Because y'all got me now, like you got me trained. How does that look?
So we would do we can do two databases. So we can upload the Sell My Home, Buy My Home, $4.99 a month, and then that would let you resell it as well. Yeah, I mean,
we don't know how many really we're going to get at first, right? Like,
well, that's the thing. There's a lot. So when we set it up, we're able to actually configure the search, right? So if most searches, if you don't really do much configuration, gives you over 500,000 results. Like for instance, we're learning ourselves that with this data, because this isn't our data, right? I built the other databases, so I understand why they are what they are. But recently from testing, like these are the best phone numbers, the ones that are skip traced. So there's some learning for us, for everybody, because
you're unlimited as far as what you can access. The amount of intent data that returns daily will vary. There'll be hundreds of thousands of people who have searched, and some days there'll be 10,000 people who searched. So I think that as far as that goes, what you're capable of accessing from what returns on the intent data, we're not capping you at the top of that. There's obviously list limits on how big the list that you can package, sell, and download, but
it would be kind of an unlimited. But then I guess the more I get involved in your groups, y'all say, hey, this is what we sell this for. If someone pays $2.99, they can get what, 3,000 leads.
If we assume we can figure out a deal where she's going to move forward with us and we're going to figure out how to get her two databases online, once we get her situated and up to speed, perhaps we work out some kind of incentive package where we have her then do some videos about what she's learned about using this system, because we need more other opinions and perspectives, and we need that narrative. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because it seems like, Scarlett, you seem like a go-getter and a doer, and that's what I love about Brian. And so yeah, anything we can do to sort of work with you as we sort of onboard this and bring this up to speed for you, we're definitely here to support and help.
Perfect.
But you're right, she's a go-getter.
So he's my partner, and he's a realtor. So it's interesting him listening to how this goes. But I need to be able to do it with someone other than my husband, right? Like show this to our realtors. And can you do it like states? Like when you're talking about that, do it nationwide. I mean, we have affiliates in different states, and then we can push it. Like
you have the ability basically to pre-build it for them. So if they don't want to go through this, you can just pre-build it for them, and then they can just type in Sell My Home Tampa. They just type in Sell My Home Tampa, and you can have it basically pre-built for them. So you have the ability to take any of the list and literally divide them out into any way you want.
Oh, perfect. So I could actually divide it out by zip code if I wanted, for those realtors that are farming certain areas.
Exactly. But you can comma separate as many postal codes. So I sometimes just pre-build them for people. And then you have the further ability to prevent them from changing your filters. So within here, it's the same type of filters. This is the same type of list we made. But if you look from the funnel requests, you can actually control, I logged into the wrong one, but it still works. you can control what they can and cannot see. So I don't let them filter apartments for businesses because it doesn't make sense, but I give them the ability to turn it into an email list or a phone list. And we limited all the B2B searches just to 4 things because we don't want them to leave. Right now it's a list of apartment managers. Why?
Yeah.
Because of the NAICS code. So we don't give them the ability to change that code. So that way now they can be like, okay, apartment managers that are under 75, and it's basically just pre-built for them.
So we can also say if they pay $299 a month, they can have 2,500. If they pay 500 a month, they can have 10,000, something like that.
Correct. So within the agency customer plan, you can put that together. You name it.
So do I get the agency customer plan for the 500, or is that something different?
So you get all of this, but we have it set up where people, if you want to resell their data, you don't have to pay them up front. You can basically do a net billing arrangement.
The data from somebody else other than you guys?
Yeah, there's a bunch. Anyone can be a vendor. That's the whole point.
Any of the data that you buy here, this is the eBay of data, right? So you can buy and sell data here, right? So everything he just showed you is the in like the intent data stuff. Like that's through a vendor that's in our ecosystem. So you're going to buy it all through this ecosystem.
Okay.
And again, you know, Brian is going to kind of white glove the setup to walk you through it to make sure that you are understanding the tools that you have and how to use them.
So I'm not paying 500 and then having to pay per lead on top of it, right? It's
No.
500 and that
So
includes it, and then we can grow more.
Exactly. If you want to add databases, so basically every database will be listed here. So if you say, okay, I want to add auto warranty leads and that costs $1 each, you have the ability to subscribe to this database, and then you can add that database to a new plan. And then when you add it to a plan, obviously you sell it, and then they can access the data from here. So you literally are just white labeling someone else's database to put here.
Okay. So, but right now we're going to get 2 of them, and that's the cost. And then as I learn, if I want to, I guess the next one I'd want to do, as soon as we get one of these on the hook and we're starting to see that good results with my 12 realtors, then we turn around and buy the realtor database, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's the whole point. It's elastic. So you don't need to do everything at once, and it can grow, and you can also unsubscribe from things technically too. So that's the point. Like for instance, the realtor database, the next month you technically can have us change. You just won't have access to the previous one to resell. So you get to pick 2 databases a month. They don't have to be the same one.
Okay. So we'd want to start with the buy and sell for the realtors, get them some deals going so they can help me sell by doing, you know, client, like whatever, they want something, you know, kind of thing. And then we can start, once we get something it's actually booking appointments, then we can turn on the realtor one and start really pushing real estate surge as a service to these realtors.
Oh man, you just gave me music to my ears. The whole marketplace thing is, the point is that you can resell the appointments. That's the whole point. So if you're generating appointments and you actually have that working, we have a whole future together.
Right. Well, but I was doing it in a much more painful way at $15 a lead on a Facebook ad. So.
Well, that whole thing is everyone's, you know, the one thing we've noticed is intent data sounds amazing. Like Hakeem's gone into 8-figure offices in Los Angeles. They then ask, how do you use it next? And then that's where, you know, the appointment idea is coming forward. So if they don't know how to use it, they can go partner with someone who knows how to use it and just buy their appointments.
Right. Well, so now do a lot of these people then not need like that whole retargeting ads and stuff, is that not needed now?
No, it is. Like, for everyone has their own secret sauce, right? Like, I use everything, but some people literally, like, you can make a whole business just saying you can get a list of 1,000 people who Googled this, and I'll put it in your Facebook audience. Hakeem's been selling that for $500 a month right now, where people just want one list. They make a Facebook ad, and that's, you have nothing else to do with it. That's why I said what's easy to sell. He just sends a list, they upload that number, and hands off. Job is done. Money's earned.
Wow, that's awesome. To start with for the realtors, just to get them under. Yeah, and then next month maybe add the realtors. So what's our next step?
So I'm gonna put together a link, and I will send that to you, and that will be that plan. And then you and
I think I've signed up with y'all with 2 different account emails in my life. And I'm thinking, shouldn't I probably do it with my SaaS account? And it would be the office at realestatesurge.io versus my Here's Housing.
That's a good idea. Yeah. So if you want to make a new account, I'll make the package. I'll send it to you, and I'll make that account with that email. The next thing I'm going to do is get those databases and get them up over the next 24 hours.